Thomas Hobbes was a tutor, scientist, mathematician, historian, and most significantly, a philosopher in the 17th century. He was born in 1588 in Westport, England. Right there. He was employed by various aristocratic families, such as the Cavendishes, as a tutor, scribe, and resident smart person. His employment allowed him to continue his studies and personal work, and also gave him connections to political affairs. Hobbes established himself in his century as a radical new moral and political philosopher that challenged the long-standing ideals of Aristotle. As an intense advocate for the monarchy, his political philosophy was largely affected by the English Civil War, a conflict for power between the Parliament and the Crown. His most well-known and influential work is The Leviathan, a three-part monstrosity on man, government, and religion, of which his favorite by far is government.
Thomas Hobbes is kinda an asshole, but not wrong. He places little faith in the nature of his common man, claiming that while man can acknowledge his capability of being lesser than another in a certain aspect or aspects, he will maintain the belief that he is the most wise. One of Hobbes' main focuses is the motivation of man. He believes man is motivated selfishly, with people acting in a competitive and conflicting manner, in addition to having impaired judgment. From this impaired judgment, Hobbes states that, quote, men are vehemently in love with their own new opinions, and obstinately bent to maintain them, end quote. This is easily observed in modern society by the polarization of media and contemporary politics, and the subconscious decision to only consume that which enforces your own beliefs. Man is ultimately not to be trusted, and will act with self-destructive behavior. This is his basis for the requirement of a strong state, to avoid this, quote, condition of mere nature.
Left to our own devices, we are helpless and fall to disorder. The only way for us to avoid our chaotic nature is to enter into a social contract, whereby we agree to be governed by laws which limit our liberties in exchange for security. In the Leviathan, Hobbes state that without having an authoritarian government to control man, their inherent nature leads to violence and wars of death and fear. He believes that the best we can hope for is a peaceful life under an authoritarian government, using the metaphor of society as a human body with government acting as the head, dictating the will and direction of society. In order for said head to function properly, its powers must be neither divided nor limited. To impose limitation or checks and balances on the authority of the government is to make any part of the government less effective, thereby reducing the effectiveness of the whole system as it is interconnected. Thankfully, history has provided us with a convenient example of his theory put into practice, showcasing the wondrous productivity of a society under totalitarian, authoritarian rule, with all the sinful compulsions and natural habits of man gloriously suppressed under a strong head of state.
In order to discuss any of Hobbes' epistemology, we must describe his ideas on language and human thought and reason. Hobbes can be described as a skeptical nominalist, which means that ideas are mere names without any real meaning. To Hobbes, there does exist a true reality, which is the physical world of matter and objects around us. Any ideas or thoughts we have ultimately stem from our imperfect observations of this reality through the senses such as our vision and hearing. We try to express our interpretations of these observations through language, but our language is imperfect and not truly rooted in reality. He stresses that we must define language in order to communicate these constructed ideas, stating, quote, truth consisteth in the right ordering of names in our affirmations, end quote, with the end goal of reaching abstract, socially constructed truths. Since human reasoning is imperfect and our ability to communicate this reasoning, i.e. language, is imperfect, truth is in fluctuation and non-definite. However, Hobbes ultimately believes that truth should be conducted by a single leader of a strong state in order to establish an agreed upon truth.